Before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and join our growing family of believers walking in faith through life's challenges. There comes a time in every person's journey when the well seems to run dry. Whether it's finances dwindling to nothing, joy fading into exhaustion, or hope itself slipping quietly away, these seasons of scarcity can leave us feeling isolated and desperate. Elijah, one of God's prophets, knew this valley of lack all too well. His story, found in 1 Kings chapter 17, speaks powerfully to anyone who's ever wondered where their next provision will come from. The land was gripped by drought, a severe famine that left fields barren and streams parched. Hunger and uncertainty hung in the air, pressing heavily on every household. Elijah, following God's command, had been living by a brook, but even that source eventually dried up. With the last trickle gone, Elijah was sent by God to a place called Zarephath, a town far from his home. In this foreign land, he was to find a widow, someone the world would see as the least likely to help. Elijah arrived and found the widow gathering sticks outside her home, preparing for what she believed would be her final meal. He called to her, "Please, bring me a little water in a jar so I may drink." As she turned to fulfill this request, Elijah added, "And bring me a piece of bread." His words must have sounded impossible to her ears. She answered honestly, "As surely as the Lord your God lives, I don't have any bread, only a handful of flour in a jar and a little olive oil in a jug. I am gathering a few sticks to take home and make a meal for myself and my son, that we may eat it and die." Yet Elijah responded not with pity, but with faith. "Don't be afraid," he said. "Go home and do as you have said. But first make a small loaf of bread for me, and then make something for yourself and your son. For this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says: the jar of flour will not be used up, and the jug of oil will not run dry until the day the Lord sends rain on the land." The widow faced a choice: hold tightly to her last handful of flour, or step out in obedience and trust, even when it made no logical sense. She chose faith, using her remaining resources to bless another. And in that moment, the impossible happened. Day after day, her flour and oil never ran out. She was able to feed herself, her son, and Elijah throughout the famine. This story carries a powerful message for us today. In times of scarcity, our instinct is to cling to what little we have left. We convince ourselves that not enough is all there will ever be. But God's economy works differently. He asks us to trust Him, even when our resources seem laughably small. When we offer Him our not enough, He turns it into more than enough. What does this look like in our lives? Sometimes, it's a paycheck that stretches just far enough. Other times, it's peace that passes understanding when circumstances are dire. It might be unexpected kindness from a friend or strength to keep going when you feel depleted. God meets us in our lack, not just by fixing our circumstances, but by transforming our hearts and reminding us that we are never alone. Philippians 4:19 promises, "My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of His glory in Christ Jesus." It's not about what you can see or count. It's about trusting the provider who is never limited by drought, famine, or any earthly lack. Psalm 37:25 offers another encouragement. "I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread." These words aren't just ancient promises. They're living truths for you today. Consider the widow's story when you face your own moments of emptiness. Maybe your handful of flour is a dwindling bank account, a relationship that feels broken, or a spirit weighed down by worry. Like her, you may feel you have only enough strength for one last effort. But God is inviting you to take a step of faith. Give what you have, even if it's small. Share hope, kindness, or encouragement with someone else. Pray and trust, even when answers seem out of reach. Miracles often begin at the intersection of obedience and trust. The provision comes not because we have enough, but because we are willing to trust God with what we do have. Just as the widow's kitchen became a place of ongoing provision, your life can become a testimony of God's faithfulness in the midst of lack. Sometimes the miracle is in your pantry, your heart, or your future. It might not look like what you expected, but it always points back to the one who cares for his children. If you find yourself in a season where everything feels dry, remember Elijah, the widow, and her son. Their story is not about big gestures or heroic deeds. It's about small steps of obedience taken one day at a time. It's about believing that God sees you, knows your needs, and is able to provide in ways you cannot imagine. Hold on to the promise in Philippians 4:19. My God will meet all your needs according to the riches of his glory in Christ Jesus. Let Psalm 37:25 reassure your spirit. I have never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. These scriptures are anchors in the storm, reminders that God is faithful and his provision never runs dry. As you walk through your own challenges, look for opportunities to trust and obey, even in the small things. Be willing to offer your not enough to God, and watch as he transforms it into more than enough. Every act of faith, no matter how insignificant it may seem, creates space for miracles to unfold. If this story reminded you that God never forgets his children, click subscribe, like this video, and share it with someone who needs hope today. Together, let's continue to walk in faith, trusting God to provide in every season, and believing that he is always working for our good, even when all we see is a handful of flour and a little oil.